Hey, what's going on YouTube and all you classic Mustang lovers out there? Hydo Restoration's coming at you for a quick video on how to swap out the steering wheel in your classic pony. You can see that the car is not yet finished. It's so much better than what it was, but we're still not totally finished yet. So what I am going to do is I've actually picked up a Grant steering wheel for about 110 bucks on eBay. Came with the mounting kit and with the little horn center cap. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that on. And the reason I'm going to do this project instead of waiting and getting the full nice 14-inch wood grain that I want in the car is realistically, I mean, this 15-inch one is ugly. I don't have any of the center horn piece for it, so there's no chrome, and it definitely looks outdated and it's cracked. But honestly, for me, it's just too big. I'm not a tiny guy. I'm about 215, 220, and so I really do want to try to pick up an extra like inch and a half when I'm sitting in the seat, and it'll be a little bit easier to climb in. And then I prefer, and I know some of y'all may not agree with me, and that's all right, but I actually prefer not to have power steering. I just like the manual steering, and so love the feel of that with these classic cars. And it's just one less thing that's going to be torquing on the engine and pulling some of the power away. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be installing the steering wheel. And again, you can see it's a little bit smaller. It'll update the car a little bit. And I think all in all, it's just going to fit for the current stage of this restoration and just kind of like the timeline for the project, because I still have at least 18 months before I'm going through a body shop to have everything repainted and getting the car done. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the install of this new Grant steering wheel. And the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to remove the old wheel. So I'm going to show you the kit we're going to use and then try to get some live action shots of pulling the wheel off and then installing the new one with the kit back in the car. So for step one, we're going to want to get in and we're going to want to remove the nut that's holding on the steering wheel. And you note the notch that's actually in the steering wheel bolt, and it's in the up position. So this is telling us, at least for my car, that the steering wheels are straight in this position. And so I'm going to follow the same pattern when I put on the new steering wheel right here. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to do it on video just because it's a little bit loud, but I'm going to go ahead and hit that with my impact wrench using a 15/16 socket, and just get that off or be able to take it off and loosen it. So for step two, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our trusty steering wheel remover kit that we pulled off of Amazon. This is probably like 15, 20 bucks. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was pretty cheap. They all generally function the same. But you can see that there are two bolts missing, and that's because I've got one that is screwed down in the steering wheel, and I've got another that I'm going to be screwing in here. And then these are going to connect to or hold down our center mass. And then we can use one of these three sized bolts to create tension as we screw down, which you'll see me do in a sec. So step two is to just set everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and get this prepped. I'm going to get our black bolt, which is in this kit, down in the center. I'm going to get these hooked up, and then I'm just going to compress this down, which is going to then result in popping the steering wheel from the column. All right, so I've got my two bolts in. I've got my center black bolt in there, and I've got my brace in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start torquing, and this is going to put pressure. These bolts are going to hold the steering wheel in, and then this is going to pop the steering wheel. As I give pressure to the center, it's going to create tension, and it's actually going to separate the steering wheel from the column. I'm gonna go ahead and torque down, and it should just break the steering wheel from, there it is. The steering wheel just pops straight off. It's really easy. If you have to hand crank it, it's all the same too. When we look at the kit, we're going to go ahead and put this together. And I'm going to get it installed, then I'll kind of walk you through the installation and show you what that looks like as we are kind of selecting the right parts and getting everything back together. For step 3, you can see that we now have the steering wheel completely removed. And the one thing I'm going to do is leave some of these internal working components, because realistically the turn signal works just fine. The horn works, it's operational, so I don't really want to mess with anything. I'm going to go by the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? So I'm going to try not to break anything and just install the new wheels. So what I'm going to do is just leave the new horn and the new spring and everything that we've got in the packaging, and I'll just leave it for a later date. As you can see, it's kind of fun. This spring is not new, but I also really want to leave this car as much original as possible, especially when the parts are still functional and they're serving a purpose. So yeah, you can see we've got our center line here, our groove, which is going to help me just go top center for the steering wheel. And what I'm going to do is then look at our caps right here. And so just want to try to find the cap that is going to best fit the steering wheel column. And then once I have that cap, I'm going to go ahead and then reinsert or reinstall the steering wheel. All right, and then our next step, I've got our cover, and what we're going to do, this is going to go on first. You can see that I got the original spring still in. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that top center point to align it with the top center point on my steering wheel. And that is top center right there. So we're on and we're good. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the wires through right here over our cover. Okay, so now that we have the wires through our cover, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our steering wheel, and we're going to feed the wires through that hole right there, the offset hole, and then make sure that there's alignment. So at this point, what I'm going to recommend is that we grab our nut. And most of your steering wheel kits are going to come with either a brand new or you're going to have your original. But I'm going to recommend that you actually push this in a little bit first, so that you don't have to hold the steering wheel with your legs as you're trying to put everything together. I actually tried to put the nut that came with the steering wheel kit from Grant, and it did not work. It was not the same size as the original nut. So we're going to go ahead and keep her classic that way, keep this pony together. So the next thing we're going to do, and again, it's going to make it a lot easier to do this now that the steering wheel is not having to be held on by my legs. But we're going to go ahead and put this first contact disc on, or contact plate on, and we're going to go ahead and just run these wires through the offset on the contact plate. Probably should just use my camera stand, but I'm not. So that'll get in there, and you can see that it's aligned. Everything looks good. Everything should work. In a second, I'm going to go ahead and just connect this. But first, I'm going to grab our second contact plate. And the one thing you want to note is there's going to be a spring that comes with your kit. And so this spring is actually going to sit here, and it's going to make contact with your horn cover. So your horn cover is, a lot of people will complain that they don't know how to get the horn cover on. It's really simple, y'all. I mean, you got to think basic. So you've got these 3 notches here. These 3 notches, you're going to slip the horn cover through those, and then you're going to twist the horn cover on, and then it'll hold. And then you're going to have pressure or resistance, because the spring is going to be keeping this plate from touching that contact plate and the horn cover. So I'm going to go ahead and just get everything set up before you put the horn cover on, and we'll be right back. All right, so you can see that we have our horn on, and it's a little bit finicky to try to get this over, but you'll note that there are some tabs right here, and that's where you're going to put it over those 3 slots that I showed you a moment ago. And you're just going to push it all the way down, and you're going to turn it over until it aligns with your steering wheel well. So all in all, I mean, the install probably took 20, maybe 30 minutes. It may take longer for some of us, and that's all right. Doesn't look too bad. A lot more clearance to be able to get in and out of the car now, and I think it's going to make driving a whole lot easier as opposed to using this baby right here, which is way too big. So we're going from the cracked up, busted up, original 60-year steering wheel to something to tide us over for the next year, maybe year and a half, as we're restoring the car. That is going to be easy to get in. Gives it a little more clearance because it sits a little bit further back. And all in all, for me, I think it's going to make it a little bit easier to turn with the manual steering. So for all y'all that have enjoyed the journey so far, mash that subscribe button. Go ahead and follow us and give us a like if this was helpful for you. All right, y'all. Hyder Restoration's out.